Imagine a woman who appears out of nowhere in a small Amazonian town with no verifiable past, no ties, no history. Just a name, a strange accent, and a gaze that seemed to observe everything as if studying an experiment. Before anyone could understand her intentions, people who visited her disappeared without a trace. Unidentified lights were seen over the sea, and her routine was marked by behaviors as improbable as they were disturbing. In Pará during the 1970s, this case became one of the most obscure accounts ever recorded, not only because of the strangeness of the events, but because to this day, no one has been able to explain who or what she really was. During that decade, Pará became the stage for some of the most unsettling accounts in Brazilian ufology and police investigations. Among military operations, luminous apparitions, and fragmented testimonies, one case stood out precisely because of the lack of answers. In this scenario, the mysterious figure known as the Blonde of Ilha do Meio became a point of tension between rumors, official investigation, and a silence that never dissipated. It all began as a curiosity. A foreign woman, educated, with seemingly authentic documents and an unusual appearance, but as her habits were revealed, the narrative evolved into something denser, marked by unexplained disappearances, lights over the sea, and behavior impossible to fit into any conventional logic. Today, we will revisit this case to understand what occurred during that period and what lay behind the silent presence of this woman. Every detail of this story suggests that the truth surpasses the limits of what we consider plausible. And throughout this investigation, we will explore the elements that transformed this seemingly harmless presence into one of the most disturbing enigmas of contemporary Amazonia. The first sign that something unusual was about to happen came with the arrival of this woman in the small town of Bragança in 1976. She spoke with a heavy foreign accent, had an elegant posture, and wore clothes unusual for the climate and environment. Her appearance was striking. Extremely pale skin, almost silver hair, and unusually blue eyes. Although nothing about her was scandalous, every feature seemed calculated. She showed an immediate interest in isolated properties, especially islands. In a short time, she acquired Ilha do Meio, a remote, quiet, and practically uninhabited region. Residents found her determination strange, but nothing she did was illegal. Her passport seemed legitimate, her intentions clear, and her conduct respectful, though distant. As the weeks passed, however, her behavior began to attract attention. She bought absurd quantities of fish, up to 400 kilos a week, without explanation. She never resold, never stored, never transported. The strangeness intensified when residents realized that she rarely visited her own properties, as if she used the region only as a base for something bigger. From then on, new peculiarities began to emerge. Unknown visitors began to arrive frequently on their island, always wearing clothes that didn't match the Amazonian environment. They were people who avoided any contact, spoke little or nothing, and seemed focused only on completing a specific task. Boatmen began to notice that, although many arrived, none returned. They would embark, disembark on the island, and disappear completely. For those who lived in small communities, where even occasional travelers were remembered for weeks, this absolute absence was a silent warning. The behavior of these visitors amplified the feeling that something clandestine was being conducted on the island. Meanwhile, reports of strange lights began to emerge. Residents claimed to see luminous spheres hovering over the sea, moving silently, following impossible trajectories, and always appearing on nights when she was present. The lights were described as small, intense, silent moons with abrupt movements. Those who lived there were aware that no boat, no aircraft, and no known equipment could produce that kind of phenomenon, and the recurring coincidence between the woman's presence and the appearance of these lights began to shape the perception that this was not natural. As reports piled up, authorities began to take an interest in the case. The police were first called in after missing person reports. Upon inspecting the foreigner's house, they found a practically empty space. A bed, 2 chairs, and nothing else. There were no clothes, utensils, personal belongings, documents, or any sign of habitation. The structure seemed set up only to serve a superficial purpose, as if it were there to simulate a residence, without any real use. The absence of traces contrasted sharply with the amount of fish she had purchased, deepening the mystery. The second summons, this time more serious, occurred after reports of lights and increased suspicion. She was taken to Belém, accompanied by police officers. During the journey, she asked to use the restroom at a gas station. 2 officers waited outside. After several minutes without a response, they broke down the door. The restroom had no windows, secret exits, or any escape route. Even so, she had completely disappeared. This event marked the point of no return in the investigation. The woman's unexplained disappearance, which occurred in front of security agents, became the most disturbing episode of the entire narrative. Nothing at the scene indicated escape. Nothing indicated violence. Nothing indicated human intervention. It was as if she had ceased to exist at that instant. The police and Air Force investigation revealed that the passport was fake, and the identity belonged to a woman who had died years before. There was no record of her entry into the country. No previous travel, no address, nothing. Experts later consulted highlighted that her posture, gestures, and communication patterns did not correspond to conventional human behavior. The absolute lack of emotional attachment, the precision of her movements, and the coldness with which she handled social interactions suggested that she was not there for personal reasons, but rather functional ones, as if she were fulfilling a specific mission. The massive purchase of fish, previously interpreted as eccentricity, began to be analyzed from a biological perspective. Large quantities of organic matter can be used in environmental analyses, toxin studies, protein extractions, and other procedures that do not require complex facilities, only isolation. The most unsettling point, however, came from the correlation between her stays and the luminous sightings. The patterns of the lights, cylindrical shapes, silent movements, abrupt trajectories, coincided with reports from Operation Prato, carried out a year later, a few kilometers away. This coincidence raised the possibility that the island was not just property, but an observation or experimentation platform. The woman's sudden disappearance reinforced this suspicion. Many investigators came to believe that she didn't flee. She was taken away. This would explain not only the absence of traces, but the precision of that moment. Isolated, silent, impossible to prevent. Since then, no similar record has emerged in the region, and the case remains frozen in its own absence of answers. The case of the woman from Ilha do Meio remains one of the most perplexing episodes in Amazonian history. Investigators closed the case without any conclusion. Documents disappeared, testimonies were reduced to rumors, and the region returned to its usual silence. But something there was never explained. Older residents still talk about the lights that appeared over the sea, her behavior, the emptiness found in the house, the coldness of the visitors, and the final disappearance that no one could rationalize. Perhaps we will never know who she was, where she came from, or what her objective was. Perhaps the explanation lies beyond the scientific or investigative possibilities available at the time. What remains is a persistent doubt, a silent unease that resists time and transforms this episode into one of the densest mysteries of the Amazon. If you've made it this far, leave your interpretation in the comments. What do you believe happened on Ilha do Meio? Your analysis can open new discussions about a case that remains unexplained. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to receive our next investigations. If you want to continue exploring Amazonian mysteries, check out the recommended videos. Thank you for watching, and until the next investigation.